After you import the package, it is necessary to add the layers needed for its correct functioning. Go to Glauco Vehicle System and select Layer Manager. Then click on Add Layers button. Now suppose you have a scene with a track where you want to install GVC. Since there is terrain in the scene, add the Material Manager to the terrain. A script will be added to all the terrain present in the scene that allows you to establish which layers and which physical materials each layer of the terrain will have. GVS uses these layers to understand how the vehicle must behave, if for example the layer on which the vehicle is located is a road or an obstacle or is off the road. In this case, every part of the terrain must be considered as off-road. For waypoint creation, add the Waypoint Manager to the scene. Drag the track you need to configure. As you did for the terrain, now it is necessary to set the layers of the game objects of the scene. This can be done manually, by setting the layers of all objects in the scene, or with the layer and physical material setup. The layers will be applied to the objects using the Unity materials that are applied to them. By activating the gizmos, the various surfaces will be colored, helping you to understand if you have correctly set the layers. For example, to make sure the road layer is applied to all objects that have asphalt material, drag the asphalt material to the layer road list. In this way, all the materials of the surfaces that they must be considered road by the AI, they must be dragged into the layer road section. Same reasoning for the parts of the scene that must be considered off-road, obstacles, or curb. By selecting GVC obstacle as the default layer, all other objects will have this layer applied. You can set the physical materials in the same way. After setting the layers and physical materials, we add waypoints using the automatic waypoints generation system. Add a new track waypoint instance. The first step is to add the starting point. To add the starting point, use the left mouse button while pressing the B key on the keyboard. Position and orient the starting point correctly. Select the default parameters in the path parameters. Select the default parameters in the path scan parameters. By selecting link camera, the scene camera will follow the creation process. Click on the Generate Path Element button to start the waypoint creation process. In addition to generating the waypoints, the starting grid and the TV cameras at the edge of the track will also be generated. Two groups of waypoints will be generated. The waypoint speed that are used by the AI to establish the speed of the vehicle in the various parts of the track, and the waypoint navigators that are used by the AI to establish the path that the vehicle must follow. Position the elements of the starting grid more precisely. Let's see what is the result of the automatic waypoint creation process. The gizmos help us to visualize waypoint speed and waypoint navigator. These are the speed waypoints that are used by the AI to determine the speed of the vehicle in the various parts of the circuit. These are the waypoint navigators that are used by the AI to determine the direction and position of the vehicle in the various parts of the circuit. The automatic system has already positioned the waypoint navigators in order to allow the vehicle to tackle the curves in the appropriate way. In this case, the automatic generation was carried out using the default path parameters. These values can be modified to obtain customized behaviors. By varying the values of path parameters, you can modify the path of the vehicle, allowing to widen or tighten the curves. For example, you can determine what the vehicle's behavior should be before curves, in curves, and after curves. To complete the setup, add the GVAI canvas and the GDC canvas to the scene. Now select the vehicles you want to use. In this example, we will select only one vehicle. Drag the vehicle into Vehicle Prefab and activate it. You can decide which elements will appear on the canvas. You can bring up the LED tachometer or the needle tachometer, the warning buttons, the light buttons, and the inputs. Establish the speed that the vehicle will have in this circuit, then set the speed, the engine power, the steering helper and the grip of the opponents and then the player. Select the waypoint manager that will be used by this vehicle. The speed that the vehicle must have in curves and straights has been calculated automatically by the automatic waypoint generation system. It is possible to have a higher or lower value of the speed by varying the speed multiplier. If you leaving the multiplier at the value 1, the automatically calculated value will use, otherwise with a higher or lower value of the multiplier, you can have a higher or lower speed. It is also possible to vary the vehicle speed separately in curves or in the straight line by selecting curve/straight speed modification. Select how many vehicles you want to instantiate. Determine which position on the grid the player's vehicle will start from. You can decide whether to show the help arrows, the number of laps, and the current weather. If you want to use the 2D semaphore in the canvas, drag the semaphore into 2D semaphore and drag the 6 lights. Then if you want you can also use the semaphore of the scene. To do this, drag it into semaphore 3D. It is possible to instantiate vehicles with different colors. Check the Change Colors box, then drag and drop the vehicle materials that will need to change color. Then drag the driver and helmet materials. Now you can choose the possible colors that will be applied to the vehicles. The setup is finished. Everything's ready. Thanks for watching.